Welcome to another edition of Living Simply and Fun. I'm your host, Rita. This is Aaron, and today we will be reviewing Ogre 13, the Asylum
Asylum 13.
13 Dragon's Milk, infused with New Holland's Brewery.
Yep. Very nice little band here.
Get.
It kind of changes color from the yellowish tan to red around the sides, and it looks like a pleasant little cigar here. And that's not that little. It's a Churchill. It's 7 by 52, I believe. They only come in one size. They're about $300 a box and average about $18 a stick. We got these on Cigar Bids for $13 a stick. And they are made by Christian Eiroa. It's a combination effort between Cigars and Asylum Cigars, who just came out with another new cigar too for Asylum. But this will not be the only Asylum we do this month. We're also going to be doing the Asylum Straight Jacket. And for those who didn't know, I actually really enjoy the cigars of Christian Eiroa, such as Camacho, which is now no longer under his control, but they still use his blends. He sold the Camacho line, I think. Don't remember who picked it up. It might have been General Cigar. But he went off to Cigars and still manages Asylum. So, looking forward to trying this. Very fruity off the wrapper. Kind of like prunes and dates, maybe some currant, something a little tart too, or citrusy.
I'm picking up hints of oranges, pineapples, mostly tropical fruit like papayas and mangoes.
That could very well be mangoes. I would end up saying that this does not smell like an alcohol, and it's supposed to be aged in alcohol
New
barrels.
Holland Brewery, yes.
Yeah, they have barrels apparently that they age this dragon's milk in, and then those barrels have been used to age these in. So, well, with that said, I think it's time we get this lit up. I already got them pre-cut.
As you can see today, I'm actually prepared today for all of you out there.
It is kind of a thick, chunky cigar, and while cutting into it, it offered resistance to the cutter, which is kind of nice sometimes. It doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. Oh yeah, taking that first draw, it's very fruity so far. I could just taste it, and it doesn't even seem to be infused. It's not sweet on the lips, but yeah, I think you're right about that mango. It's just very fruity, very.
So far, I'm going to say that this cigar is more likely a fruity bomb for once.
We'll see how this goes.
But the initial is it's a fruit bomb. More mangoes, maybe little oranges, and a little pineapple.
And there's a little spice in there too.
So unless Dragon's Milk is a fruity beer,
well, maybe that's just how it comes off on the wrapper, which means that it's picked up totally different flavors out of the alcohol. I think I'm going to enjoy this. I like unique flavored cigars, that's for sure. Do kind of have a slight run going right at the beginning, but it's not a big deal. I think that'll work its way out. And I always notice that when there's usually a run problem, it's right at the beginning. Once it gets fixed, no more problems. So, not like that Titan you had yesterday. We're right in the center. It's running like that far down the side. It's like... Well, anyways, I suppose we'll get back to you in the middle third of this. Only a second for you, probably an hour for us.
Welcome back to the first third of this cigar. Aaron, what's the clock say?
45 minutes in. We are barely a third of the way into the Churchill. So, halfway point's about here. And it's going to be at least an hour to the halfway point. Probably another hour for the smoke. This is going to end up being a 2-hour smoke. As I said, it's like $17 to $18 a stick. We got it for $13. This is definitely so far worth the $13. It's very fruity with some kind of heavy spice notes that seem to fluctuate on how strong they want to be. But the fruit notes seem to keep repeating. It has picked up strength a little bit, and it's more fuller bodied than it was to start.
This tastes like mixed fruit from like fruit cocktail.
It is rather fruity. I'm not really going to try to put a nail on what fruit, but I kind of was more leaning towards the mango prune or fig.
I also want to say so far it's got a nice ash, burns evenly. This cigar so far has just been flawless.
It has not needed any fixes. As I showed you at the beginning, it had a little run, but I let it work itself out, and it's been great. I almost feel like my lighters are being neglected, but that's a good thing. So, so far, very happy with this. The only other cigar I've had that I would actually somewhat compare this to is the cheap La Diferencia Cubana, which kind of had a strawberries and cream flavor to it. And that was a really cheap stick, and I guarantee they are hit and miss, but they are cheap and affordable. And definitely one of my favorite cheapo kind of infused cigars, even though it's not considered infused. And I have not bought them since I got that those 2 sticks in a sampler.
Oh boy, was it?
I think it was one of those. But I have always been tempted to buy a box of those. I'm just afraid at the quality, because looking at the La Diferencia Cubanas, the wrapper looked horrible, and it felt soft all the way through, and it wasn't a pretty stick at all, and I figure there's a good chance many of those could be horribly constructed. But anyways, we're talking about this Dragon's Milk.
I do want to say, just for poops and giggles, if you buy a box of these, it comes in a cool-looking carton.
Yeah, it comes in like a milk carton with nutritional facts on the side. I hope they put it more nutritious than non-nutritious. I smoking my lunch. So, anyways, we'll get back to you in the final third of this, but so far, a very stellar smoke and very well worth the money we paid.
Welcome back to this good review of the Asylum 13's Dragon's Milk.
Well, it might not be a good review. Some people might think we do a crummy review. And
good
that's
review,
all right.
I mean, on this.
What she means to say is, for a very nice stick. First of all, let's get into the flavors. There's been a very
transitional period.
Yeah, it has definitely changed. The fruitiness has gone to the back. It's still there. You can taste it if you try to notice it. But it's become very nutty and leathery at this point. It's still very tasty. It's a much fuller body, long finish. And at this point, we're not even close to finishing this cigar, and it's 2 hours and 10 minutes in. I'm going to make 2.5 hours. I'll guarantee that. Rita might make 2 hours and 25 minutes. So we'll call it at that.
This soda is perfect with this cigar.
Oh, I'm sure it would be.
Tropical drink.
It's a limited edition Sprite, the tropical, but the flavors of the tropical fruits in there match up well with the cigar. So if you happen to be one of those who like to have a soda while you're having your cigar, try the tropical Sprite with this. You can't go wrong. Surprisingly, it's not a fancy or expensive beverage to go with a fancy, expensive cigar. I don't know as I'd pay $18 a stick for this, but the 13 that we managed to get these for on Seabeds is perfect. I would gladly pay $13 for these again.
I just want to say total of $15.50 each with shipping.
That's with the shipping, but you know, shipping I don't consider as part of the cigar cost somehow. But beautiful cigar, nice smoke output, nice construction, no faults there. The Christian Eiroa does it again. Great cigar, and it's part of the reason why I like him as a blender. So,
Christian Eiroa.
Eiroa.
Christian Eiroa did an excellent job.
I still want to try his Klee cigars. I have not gotten a chance to try any of the Klee cigars. I've tried a lot of the Camachos, and I love the Camachos, and the Eiroa family was behind those until they sold it. But this is fantastic. It might be the best Asylum I've smoked. I've tried the Asylum 13 Ogre Barber Pull 6x70. I've tried the regular Asylum. I've tried the Schizos, which are a very good budget stick. I haven't been displeased by anything Asylum, and we still got the Asylum Straight Jacket to try.
I agree completely with that statement. I also want to say, as I was trying to say in the transition, it's changed from nuttiness to leatherness with a light taste of pepper in the back of my tongue.
Yeah, that's more the spice, which all the way through it I kind of tasted the spice, but it's kind of become a more peppery spice than a more herbal spice. Still, extremely nice cigar. Highly recommend it if you can get one at an affordable price. As I said, I don't see paying $18 a stick for this, but it is almost $18 good. So, it's just I can't afford that. So as much as I'd like to buy a box of these, ain't going to happen in my lifetime probably, but I might be able to get one now and then. They are limited editions, so they may not be around terribly long either. So,
yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, as he said, in our opinion, they're expensive, but for some, they're not expensive. So if you want a box, go for it. My review overall is this is a fancy, fine cigar. Very good for the money if you get it on Cigar Bid. I do want to say, like he said, it's between $325 and $400 a box. They're limited edition.
It's essentially a Mazo because it's in a carton.
Anyways, what I wanted to say about the cigars itself is, when it comes to this particular cigar, you know, it is very good. I haven't had any problems with any of the Asylums we tried. And I think, you know, you guys that are watching this review will like it. And also, if you think it's a gimmick, it isn't, because there is no beer infusion in this I can tell.
It's got more fruity flavors than anything else. And as Asylums go, I've had 4 bundles so far. That's 80 sticks of Schizos, which are budget. And
how much was the budget Schizos?
Depends on what size you get. If you get Robusto, it's like $29, but if you get Torpedo, it's like $45.
I get Torpedoes.
It might be $49 for the Torpedoes and $45 for the 6x60s. And I've tried the 6x60, I've tried the Torpedo, I've tried the Robusto, and I've tried the Toro. So I would just say that Asylum makes great cigars. I've not really been displeased by any of them.
Asylum is like number 5 on my cigar list. Camacho's 4. Nubs
Oliva's
are
one.
Oliva's number one, yes. So, and Partagas is number 2. They went from number 1 to number 2.
And then your third favorite is like the Romeo Juliet Anniversario,
Yes.
and maybe the Capulets along with them, but and the Montagues, but the rest of the Romeos, neither of us
I
really
will
like.
gladly buy a box of Montagues or Capulets in May, you know. But right now we're not buying any cigars much because of our trip coming up next month.
Some people might think that the packaging for a box or a Mezzo a 20 looks really cheap being a milk carton, but at the same time, you're getting a cigar that is fantastic. And some people would say $300, give it a box at least with cedar lining. And these are fantastic. Just put them in your humidor. You usually don't use the boxes to humidify them anyways. As far as I know, I never keep mine in the box. I move them to my humidor when I get them. So just because it doesn't come in a box doesn't mean it's not worth every penny.
Exactly. And I think for, you know, the price that we paid, they were good for single sticks. I mean, as anyone needs to know, it caught Aaron's eye. Then I looked at it, and then I decided to buy it just so he could be happy.
Well, we also wanted to try seabeds, and we found something affordable in our price range. And yeah, it was only 2 sticks, but hey, they have been stellar sticks. So I gotta say, our first experience using seabeds. Speaking of which, it came, it shipped from Philadelphia, and well, not Philadelphia, but it was stuck in Philadelphia for like the last 3 days, and Rita was like, oh great, they're not going to be here by Friday when it says they're going to be here. And all of a sudden, they're at our post office in a box delivered. So I told her to have a little faith with that. They did come. One thing I don't like about the packaging that the Seabeds does is it says cigar bids right across it. And in our state, we're not allowed to import pipe tobaccos and cigarette tobaccos, but I wouldn't put it past the mail people, some moron saying cigars aren't allowed either. And so I think it should just say Seabeds or CB on it or something like that instead of cigar bids and big letters and bold. And number 2, for 2 sticks, the box was like that big and like that high, and it had all sorts of bubble wrap in it. There was no way these were going to get damaged on the way.
I do want to say also, because we have what they call mail lockers at our post office. We had a mail locker like this. The door was like this long. And I was like, wow. Because at first I thought, oh, they want A. It won't fit. But when I turned it over, it says box X. I was like, oh. Because they don't have a box Z, so it's just box X. So I was like...
Yep. So, do I recommend it? Yes, I recommend it. Would I buy it again at $13? Yes, any day that I happen to have 13 to spare.
I do want to say,
would I buy it at 18?
We did it at free fall.
Yeah, but would I buy it at 18? Maybe. Slim chance I'd buy it at 18 just because this is a good smoke. And I know it's a good smoke now. So.
So, yeah, we got it at free fall, just so you know. So we actually watched it, and then we just hit 2, and, you know, but they only allowed 2 single sticks, so.
I tell you, if I actually had money sitting around me and floating around all over the place, I'd make sure that these were like a daily smoke for me. Because I could easily fit these into a rotation or just have a humidor of them, and, you know, but I can't afford that.
Well,
Does that say how good these are?
I just wanted to say, for some of you out there that watch our reviews, we were blessed. We did get a smoking room when we were on our trip.
Yeah, so we will be able to do reviews while on trip, depending on whether you can smoke after or before your surgery.
Well, we'll find out. That's when you.
The recommendation is that it'll slow healing, but it won't really do much damage. They do say that for the surgery, though, that depending on gender, it's worse or better for. Well, not better. They never say better, but they always tell you to quit. So I kind of leave it in Rita's ballpark whether she wants to or not. I've never noticed that smoking is slowed healing. I've always been a pretty quick healer. So
there you have it. Please add and subscribe. Please post
and
comments.
thanks for watching.
Please leave feedback, suggestion.
And
Send us an email if you want. And enjoy every puff.